Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. I hope you're well. This is my spiritual channel, Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny, allegedly. Now, if you've been following me a while, thank you very much, and I hope you continue to listen. And if you're a new listener, thank you very much. And may I ask you to revert back and listen to my previous podcasts. They're quite funny. They are. They're full of wisdom. Sometimes they burst into song. So if you take a few minutes, please revert back, listen to even the most recent ones, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Now, on my latest podcast, I heard myself saying, see you Monday. I did. But I decided to pop on because, as we all know, this is Mother's Day today. And I thought, I'll pop on just casually. I'll keep it to 15 minutes. I know my previous podcast, they started at 15 minutes and then I was sneaky and I made it 20. And the last one was about 34 minutes. I know. I noticed. I'll try and keep this one to about 15. I really just wanted to come on and say Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers who are listening and to all of your mothers, wherever they may be. And I hope they've had a lovely day. Hope you've spoiled them, etc., etc. Now, my own mother passed in 2004 and, memories. Like many of you, if your mothers have passed, my thoughts are going out to you as well, obviously, because I share that loss in your life. But it made me reminisce, the way you do. And I started just remembering things about my own mother, as you tend to do. You've probably no doubt been doing the same thing. Even consciously or subconsciously, the memories were flaring into my mind. Now, my most recent memories of my mother, as I said, she passed in February 2004. And I recall I was taking her to Ireland twice a year for probably about 4 or 5 years before that. We would, like a group of us were all going over and it was a great laugh. And I would go twice a year. So the last year prior to, that would be 2003, the last trip I managed to take her over in the July and then we went back over in the October. So I'm so pleased to say she had that last holiday in Ireland where we used to have real belly laughs, tears pouring down her face because the people we were going with, there was a lot of Scottish people going over. And then obviously you had the Irish humour, which I love. I love the Irish pattern, the humour. And as I said, we were going over for years. So we'd built up the people that we were seeing, the people that we were going over with. And we knew lots of folk and then the people that we met over there. So we would have a great laugh. And she loved all of that, the kind of thing. And we'd go twice a year. And so the last time I would have taken her over then, obviously I was over in the July and we've been over in the end of October. We're home in the end of October in 2003 and then she passed away in the February. But I was just so grateful now in hindsight when you look back at the memories that we had and the laughs because we had a very, very similar sense of humour. You can be the judge if that's a good thing or not. But we were more like friends at that stage where we had shared the exact same sense of humour. She liked the same kind of thing. She loved the trips over to Ireland, as I said, meeting all the people. So those were the kind of memories that came back into my mind today. And as I said, I managed that last time in October to take her over and then get back. And then she passed away in the February. But you like to kind of try and hold on to those memories and the laughter. But that's the main thing I was thinking, because when we were over there, because of the people we were going over with and the people we met there, we did nothing but laugh until you were in agony laughing. You know, that kind of thing where the tears were pouring down your face. Now that in itself is a tonic. Because I remember many of the times we would come back home, she would be talking about different people that we were over there with, and she'd be reminiscing, going over, remember this? Oh, what a laugh that was, or what a laugh this was, or what a laugh that was. So those are the memories I like to remember. Obviously, like everyone else in life, we've had our own fear of challenge, our own challenges to deal with throughout the whole our lifespan. I like to try and focus on those years when we were going over to Ireland and she was enjoying it and she managed to kind of meet all those people. As she said herself, she wouldn't have experienced that if I hadn't been taking her over and taking her back. And she did say she appreciated it all, the kind of effort that I'd made over those years, making sure she was okay, taking her out, doing that. So those years are staying in my memory and the laughter and the people that we met on those trips. Like today, you'll be reminiscing about, different things in your own parents' lives. But it's a terrible loss, as many of you know, who lost their mother, no matter what age you are, especially if you had the same kind of humour and the kind of friendship. It's a terrible loss at that time. But I try and, as I keep saying on the podcast, I try and focus on the laughing and the good times. We could all dwell on the awful times and the challenges and stuff. It doesn't do you any good. As I keep saying, if worry, improved the situation, I would just sit here and worry myself half to death. I think that's great. This is going to help me and no end. Sadly, it doesn't. It just makes you ill. And it just gives you wrinkles. There's no bonus there for worrying. It's not as if you're going to get a slap in the back and go, there you are, just you worry and this will improve. And this is what I try and do. But there are people, I remember someone not that long ago, and it wasn't this situation, but somebody had passed. And if I had said something and if I'd laughed, this person would jump quick and say, I can't see how you can laugh after. Now, I'm not talking about the day of the funeral. I'm not talking about a week after. I'm talking about maybe years later. If you laugh at something, it's that kind of attitude. You don't know how you can laugh after that. Now, number one, I'm not living my life that way. I most certainly will find humour where I can. It's not good for your health and it's not good for your mind to just, just to live your life that way. So this is my focus today. I was recalling the situations of my life. I'm so glad and so pleased now. When I look back, I know that she enjoyed those years going to Ireland and the laughter. And that's what I take from it. And she did say she knows that she would never have experienced that if I hadn't been taking her and taking her back. So those are the memories that you should cling on to in any time like today when it's an obvious day, like a Mother's Day or whatever, and just reach out to people maybe in the same position. Some people get lost in their own situation and they don't give a thought to others. Try and reach out to people that are maybe had a loss or in a similar position. I'm sure they'll appreciate, your thoughts or your time. So that's it. Just wanted to say, remember your mothers, and even if your mothers are still around, make the most of the time that you have. Make the most of the memories. And as I said, my thoughts are with those whose mothers have passed. I know many of you are in the similar position. Thank you. Now, the other thing that when I was thinking of that, another little funny thing just came into my head. And it was somebody, I don't know if this is truth or fiction, someone said to me a while ago, they were in work. Now, I'm not talking about anybody young. It wouldn't have been as funny. It was an older person. And that they were doing something really busy. And they called their boss. I can't remember if it was mum or dad. They said to the boss. Now, the person I'm talking about was in her 50s, I know. And I think the boss was probably in the 50s. Anyway, in the middle of the panic, she went to shout his name or shout something. I can't remember if it was the mother or the father, whatever it was. And instead of shouting the name of the person, she went, Ma'am! Oh, she's not lived it down yet. The office were seemingly, again, in tears of laughter. I know, she tried to pretend she meant it. I was joking. I meant to call you mum or dad or whoever you were meant. I know. So then from there, my mind slipped into it. Do you know that way when you bump, maybe it's me, maybe it's me. Do you know if you bump into a door and before you realise it's a door or something, you say, oh, sorry. And well, do you do that? I do that quite often, especially if you're in public. It's quite embarrassing. If you bump into a door, oh, sorry. I know. Well, it's manners. I didn't know it was a door. Or some people do that kind of thing. In the shop, what do you call that thing that wears all the clothes? A mannequin, that thing. Honestly, how many times you bump into one of them and says, oh, beg your pardon, sorry. Oh, good sake. It's the one the arm doesn't fall off or something. I would run out of that shop screaming. Just thought that now. I would run out of the shop screaming if you bumped into one of those things that its arm fell off. How you see it in little videos, like maybe children going up thinking it's their mother or something, go, Mommy, and pulls the sleeve and the arm falls off. Do you know, you've been in therapy for the rest of your life if you're a child, wouldn't you? If you look, they shouldn't leave it like that. That just all came into my mind now. I know, but I think if you bump into one of them, you go, oh, sorry, and then say, oh, for goodness sake. It's one of those stupid things. Don't say the word again, I get it mixed up. I had a friend that got that word mixed up. That mannequin thingy in the shop that wears the clothes, she called it a meringue. How do you think I feel? And she said to me one day, years ago, but she had a tendency to get her words mixed up. So I should really have known. But on this day, she was used to me laughing at her jokes. If she'd tell me something, I would kind of tend to laugh, or an embarrassing situation, I would tend to laugh. But this day, she was telling me something, and I struggled to laugh, and you'll understand in a minute. She said something, and she bumped into a meringue. How did you think I felt? And I said, a meringue? Now, 3 times I repeated the word meringue, and she says, yes, a meringue, I bumped into a meringue. She didn't realise she was saying the wrong word either. And she bumped into this meringue. It was so embarrassing. So the 3rd time when I was trying really hard to laugh, I thought, I'm not going to laugh at bumping into a meringue. I look like an idiot. And I said to her, what do you mean you bumped into a meringue? Did you fall face first into a baker's window? And she says, what do you mean? Did I fall first face into a baker's? But no, I didn't. Anyway, she was meaning one of those mannequin things with the in the shop. She bumped into that. What's the, how do you think I feel? Mannequin meringue. I know. Just began with an M. That was the only thing I had in common. Anyway, so, the way I haven't got any jokes. I'm just going from here to there, from there to here. The other thing that came into my mind when I was reminiscing about my mother, I was thinking back, do you know, not that many years ago, do you remember when people used to do a washing? Where are you going with that? Listen, just follow me. Do you remember when they used to do a washing? Even an ordinary washing, or even better still, the days that people used to have those big twin tubs. Remember? How old are you? I beg your pardon. The twin tub machines. Remember the steam that used to come out of those things, and they had those big wooden things, to pull the washing out. The water was so hot that they had to pull it out with those wooden things. Well, those were the days that the germs, in my opinion only, thank you, those were the days the germs were actually getting killed off all the items. When the water was, heaven forbid, hot. I know. Where they used to use those wooden thingies. I know. Can't remember the word. I know. So we noticed. I know. But the water used to be absolutely steaming. They had all the washing powder or whatever they were using at that time. And you'd look and it would be filled to the brim, water and all the soap suds and all the steam. And your washing would come out and it would be sparkling and all the germs would be killed off it because of the water. And then it would be thrown out on the washing line, but it was getting the breeze and the sun. And the sun and the heat of the sun was helping the washing and killing anything else that was on it. The heat of the sun. Now, move forward a few years. Do you know how the way I'm always going on about AI, ochai, huchai in progress? Well, do the same with washing machines. Yeah, you won't be laughing in a minute. Now, you may be laughing at me now, talking about AI in progress. Can you tell me how this is progress? I know. I didn't even know I was going here, but I am now. I did. This is thinking of my mother earlier on, the washing machine, the soap suds, the hot water, steaming, the whole thing. Now, look where we are today. They give you washing machines that are reduced. The capacity for the water is reduced. Oh, of course it is. You won't see a big twin tub full of water. Oh, no, you won't. You'll get a little thimble full of water at the bottom. Think of the planet. I know. A little thimble full of water at the bottom. Unless you put a full load of thing, you might get an extra couple of, But whatever amount of water is certainly not the way it used to be. Now move from twin tub, even an ordinary washing machine. You used to look in an ordinary washing machine. You could see the water floating about and the hot soaps and the suds and your washing spotless. Now what they're telling us to do. This is only my opinion only. Thank you. They give you a reduced amount of water. So you've hardly got any water in it. I know, to save the planet. Heaven forbid, and all the I'll rephrase. Some of the adverts are saying, and you'll get the perfect wash even at 30 degrees. I know. So now we're washing in a thimble of water with cold water or lukewarm water. I know. We laugh in the face of having warm water. Who needs warm water to wash clothes? Oh, not us, obviously. No. I know. Germs. Don't worry about it. No. Well, no, just you give me how much water? A cup of water in my machine. Lovely. And what? Use 30 degrees. Oh, yes. Just warm, tepid. Yeah, that's okay. Warm. We laugh in the face of suds. I know, so noticed. Anyway, now is this progress? Not that many years ago, the hot water was a requirement. Call me old-fashioned. Call me. This is progress. Hot water was required in your washing to kill the germs and to make sure everything was washed properly. Now, people are advised to throw their washing, into a little water in very cool water, in very cool heat. You don't need heat. We laugh in the face of heat. I know. How's that progress? Will somebody tell me how that is progress? And then you're told, heaven forbid, how in the summer in Scotland it's a Tuesday? I think this year's is Tuesday. It's about 4 o'clock. Between 2 and 4 o'clock, we're going to get the sunshine. And the first thing they're going to start is watch that you don't let the sun touch your skin. Don't let the sun touch your skin. What about vitamin D? I know. The sun was always known as a healer. Like if you had anything on your skin or any sores or anything, the sun, in my opinion only, had the potential of healing. And even the light. Now, this is a different kind of light to the one on your phone. I'm telling you, you're going to go blind staring into your phone. The sun has got a different, obviously. It's nature. It was created by the creator, the sun. I'm not talking about the sun, the light on your phone. Different thing. I know. So not that many years ago, you would look, you'd feel the lovely heat of the sun on your skin. you know, you would maybe look up and think, look at that beautiful sun. Now the sun would be going through your eyes. And, you know, it was everything to do with the sun was healing, potential of healing. Now what we're told, back to the washing machine, an inch of water in that machine and don't you dare make that any hotter than 30. I know, we laugh in the face of heat, I know. And then the sun, what are you doing? Splatter yourself from head to toe and stuff. And lotion. What's in the lotion? I would like to know what's in the lotion. Is there anything toxic in the lotion? I don't know. I'm only thinking aloud. Is there anything you know, the sun is nature. The creator made the sun. Someone else, a manufacturer's made the stuff that you're slapping all over your body. I know. This lotion. I know. I'm just thinking aloud. What's happening? So I know. Anyway, that's it. I'm just leaving you with that thought. You know, the sun, if we get the sunshine in Scotland for a couple of hours, I'd quite like to enjoy the sun. You know, I know there's maybe health warnings, but there's health warnings on everything. They're giving me health warnings on everything. Everything you go to eat. Don't even think of eating that, for goodness sake. Now, everything that they're telling me not to eat is everything that was healthy. In my opinion only. Everything that we're told not to eat is the thing I would have assumed, call me old-fashioned, is healthy to eat that the body requires, you know. And that's the stuff we're getting told not to. What are you doing thinking of eating that? And you're kind of getting directed everywhere else. And you're thinking, well, that stuff to me is not healthy, you know. Anyway, I'm just saying, washing machines. And what's happened to the germs? So is all the washing still coming back at? Well, I don't. I try and use as warm a wash as I can possibly use in my machine. I do. I don't want washing going in and coming back out the same way as it went in. Do you know what I mean? Harry, I can't get rid of that. Anyway, I was speaking on that note of the sun. I didn't come on here with that. You can see I'm just floating from here to there to here. The sun, not the newspaper, the sun in the sky. I was talking to someone today. I wonder if you're listening. I know. And he said, I think I've diagnosed myself. He said, I think I've diagnosed myself with SAD syndrome. Now, there's many people with this SAD syndrome. We go, I know. Then you think, well, no wonder. The minute you get a bit of sun, you're going to get told, for goodness sake, don't go out in it. Whatever you do, it's not good for you. Stay in. Go and get that stuff. Splatter yourself with that stuff that you don't know what's in it. I know. Don't. Sun. We laugh in the face of sun. Get in a house. But he was saying seriously today, because in Scotland we've had quite a lot of rain and darkness and kind of just dreich. Very dreich, isn't it? I know, you've got to go and go, goodness sake, how am I going to get out and back in the same, I know, soaked. Anyway, so he was saying that today, the SAD syndrome. I remember somebody I'm laughing because I know the story already. I was like, I know, somebody I knew many years ago, he was really funny, really good laugh. And he said something like that years ago when the SAD syndrome thing was mentioned for the first time. And he said, oh, sad. Oh, for goodness sake, if only I was so lucky as to be SAD syndrome. I've got flaming miserable syndrome now. I moved well beyond SAD syndrome a long time ago. He was one of them, I know, glass half empty. Remember that? He was always, if someone said they had SAD syndrome, oh no, he had to have beyond that. I left that a long time ago. I'm in miserable syndrome now. I know, it's just as well I'm such a an upbeat person. Goodness sake, I'm surrounded by people trying to be, anyway, yeah, maybe it was, I know. You won't have SAD syndrome when the sun comes out and, laugh, put a washing on that you can actually see. I love remember those old twin tubs? I wouldn't necessarily go back to a twin tub. But when you look and you think of those twin tubs with the the soap sud, can you see it in your mind? Even in never forget twin tub, even an ordinary washing machine, you would look at it and you could see the soap swirling and enjoying itself in this lovely heat. Giving your washing, and you would put your washing out in a beautiful smell. People would hang it out, in there to let the air get in there. Tumble dryer. No, tumble dryer. No, don't use that. I'm going to spend about £540 with this tumble dryer. No, we laugh in the face of air. Oh, do you? Don't like air? No, we don't. No, tumble dryer, pay a fortune, and I'm going to, just wash this in lukewarm water. I don't even know if I need the soap. Do I need the soap? Probably not. Next year, they will no doubt allegedly say, soap is not good for us either. Soap, I know. Goodness sake. Anyway, that's all. It's 19 minutes, I know. I just wanted to wish you all, the mothers, happy Mother's Day. As I said, reminiscing on my own, thinking of my own mother, Ireland, laughter, and then that's taking me into the washing machine. I know, well, not literally, thinking of washing machines, thinking of that. Progress. I'm always saying to you, where is the progress? I would love to know where the progress is. Same with the Iachai Huchai. Where is the progress? I don't see it. We're going in reverse. As I said previously, we are going full steam ahead in reverse. And I know exactly what that means, and even you know what that means. Write it on your fridge. You've got a pen. Write that on your fridge. We're going full steam ahead in reverse. Well, your washing machine's not full steam ahead because you're not allowed. It's got to be cold. It's got to be hardly any water. And enjoy your revision. Thank you very much. Hope you have a nice day. Monday tomorrow. Hope you have a good week. Thank you for listening. Look after each other. Bye for now.